Today, we are in Kolkata, also known as the cultural capital of India. We are here to interact with the CEO of the Indian Iron and Steel Sector Skill Council, Mr. Sushim Banerjee. With his extensive experience in the iron and steel industry, Mr. Banerjee has been instrumental in promoting the use of steel and stainless steel in the country. Currently, he is involved in the upskilling and skilling of professionals in the iron and steel industry. Let's see what he has to say about the increasing use of stainless steel in India and also about the initiatives that his organization is undertaking in order to fill the skill gap in the industry. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the time. Can you please tell us something about yourself?
See, I was born in Calcutta, and my father, who was in teaching profession, had a transferable service in various government colleges. So we moved around from Calcutta to various places in the North Bengal and also in West Bengal in various locations. And my schooling was in Hooghly as well as in Calcutta. And I passed out higher secondary and then admitted to Presidency College in the subject of economics. And my father also became professor of history in Presidency College. So I graduated from Presidency College and got into the MA in economics in Calcutta University. And I'm still proud to say that I stood first class first in economics and won the gold medal. And then for some time I was thinking whether to join the teaching profession, but that time the SAIL exam came and I sat for the exam and I was selected in SAIL. So that was the year, when after that my life changed along with SAIL only. So I rose up to the position of Executive Director Commercial. I was also the Executive Director in HRD of SAIL, and I was the Chief Risk Officer of SAIL. And after my stint in SAIL was over, I was placed as a Director General of Indian Institute for Steel Development and Growth, shortly IISSSC. And then I became the CEO of Indian Iron and Steel Sector Skill Council.
So can you elaborate on the work that your organization is undertaking and its impact on the iron and steel industry, especially on the stainless steel industry?
See, Indian Iron and Steel Sector Skill Council is one of those sector skill council out of 37 sector skill council that the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and also National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC, they have created. So I was associated with the formation of the council way back in 2013. And why we chose Calcutta as the place, because eastern region is the origin of Indian steel industry, starting from Burnpur as well as from Tata Steel at Jamshedpur, and also various iron ore and coking coal resources at Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal. So that was the idea of creating this body at Calcutta. We have done a skill gap study, because basically if you start to do the skill development, it is necessary that you know where is the skill gap and where you have to fill the gap. So the skill gap study was done in detail with the National Institute for Secondary Skill Technology. And our first 2 years of our formation, we developed the course curricula and contents for all the frontline operations like electricians, welder, bearing maintenance, machinist, EOT crane operator, like that, which are the basic operations of running a steel plant. And then after that, after 3 years, we started training on those courses. Our training module is a very short-term module of 3 to 4 months training, and we undertake training through our training partners who are associated with us, and they have got very experienced trainer under their fold. So after the training is over, we take the assessment of the people, because we must know how the training was effective in them, how much they have learned. So this learning was through the assessment, and the assessment is done by multiple choice question or face-to-face interview, and there are various processes. We monitor this assessment, and this assessment is done by assessment agencies who are affiliated with us. And after the assessment is over, 70% is the benchmark. This skill certificate with a logo of the government is a very much valuable document for the candidate. There are three types of area where we have penetrated. First is the short-term training. The second one is the RPL. There is a huge number of existing labor worker who are working in the steel plants, but they are just working, but they do not, they have a skill experience, but that skill, what level they are working or what is their skill competency, that was never evaluated earlier. So this is called the recognition of prior learning, and this is a very short term module of 16 hours, 12 hours of training, and because they know, they have been working on that particular job role, like for instance welding, they know the welding, they have been working in the steel plant. So it is our job to know if there is any skill gap. So they have to fulfill that skill gap, our trainer, very experienced trainer, and then after the training is over, after 12 hours, they are being assessed and this certification is taking place. Now all these things are through portal. None of this is through any manual maneuvering is there. It is all through portal, that is called the Skill India Digital Hub, SIDH. So anywhere sitting in India, any place, you can see how many people we have trained, how their performance, what is the level of, we call it as NSQF level, National Skill Qualification Framework. That is the level which will judge their competency level. Level 1 is unskilled, level 8 is fully skilled, it is the MD level. Last one is the apprenticeship. Each unit having an employee of more than 15, they are supposed to have an apprenticeship, apprentices. So that is how and apprenticeship courses are also different, is slightly longish courses, because apprentices are taken for 1.5 years to 2 years. Till date we have done about 1 lakh of training, and I am very happy to say that we were told by the ministry that placement of those candidates is also your responsibility, and I feel that is the right approach, because placement means how effective what your training was, but whether that fellow is actually getting the employment, that is also our job. So today 60% of our candidates who have been trained by us are engaged in gainful employment.
And sir, what are the broad areas that India should work on to bridge this gap in the iron and steel industry?
Our experience is that in the iron and steel sector, although many professionals are working there, but at the working level, there is a huge skill gap, because once the steel plant starts functioning, they require manpower. They require manpower hands-on, who will work with the machines at the shop floor. And so these people, earlier what was happening, these people were not undergoing training in that strict sense of the term. Maybe the units that are recruiting them, they used to arrange some post hiring training for a few days time. So those trainings are, I will not say, those trainings are not very uniform, not any standardized module they are following. So what this MSD ministry and NSDC has done, that our Sector Skill Council, we have developed those courses and contents, very much what the industry needed. It is the courses, I am very happy to say that these courses have been developed with the active support and involvement of the industry. So industry knows what their requirement is. So if you develop those courses and people are getting successful in getting those courses and training and assessment, then they are getting engaged by the units. So skill gap is still there. What we have assessed, and that unit has assessed, that there is a 10 lakh of people will have to be trained between now and 2030. That means today, if it is 23, 24 or 24, 25 just started. So in another 6 years time, another 8 lakh 50 working level at the front shop floor level, they have to be trained. So it is a huge task, and we are going ahead with that. I am happy to say that some of the big industries, all of them are with us. when we approached them, Jindal Stainless, and I am very happy to say that they were very, very enthusiastic, because lot of skilling activities are already going on in JSL. JSL has a skill academy also. Stainless steel has actually now penetrated into the various areas which was earlier not there. For instance, in some of the areas, particularly in construction area, earlier stainless steel, we used to say, I am talking of 1980, etc. There 80% of the stainless steel demand was from the utensil sector. And now there is a sea change. It is now more industry focused and less on utensil sector. But there are many small producers who are making stainless steel, and they are catering to the needs of the utensil sector. And I am very happy to see that Jindal Stainless has now really moving up the ladder in the, not only for the quality of products, but also by extending their product coverage from both in long and flat products area. Earlier, stainless steel long products, there were not so many product available, but now TMT bar, round bar, these structurals, these are available in the stainless steel, and that is why the infrastructure sector, which uses maximum quantity or major quantity in the long product as well as in flat products, so stainless steel has entered into that infra sector, and now it will be, I am sure it will be very good.
You mentioned that you've already trained 1 lakh people, but is there any vision that so many people you have to target in order to at least bridge some of that gap that's there? Is there any vision, any target that you have in mind?
When the skill gap study was done, they had mentioned about some numbers, that these are the number of skill gap. For fresh training, they says it will be around about 10 lakhs in the next decade. So 1 lakh in each year. And for upskilling and reskilling, for the RPL, that is for the existing employees, the target is about 8 lakh 50,000. So that means 18 lakh 50,000 people through fresh training as well as through RPL. That is our target in the next 10 years time to achieve. This includes stainless steel also.
And sir, what are the new job roles that your organization, it can develop based on futuristic processes of manufacturing, and what are your views about Jindal Stainless's Stainless Academy?
I will first say about new job roles for the steel sector, iron and steel sector. That is mostly for the industry 4.0. So after much thought and deliberations with the board members, with industry, what we have come about that for the general working level population in the steel plant, and for the young officers, young professionals who are working now, it is very necessary that some amount of awareness program for application of artificial intelligence, for application of machine learning, for application of industrial IoT, for application of even PLC, it is very much required. They must be aware of the advantage or benefits of these technologies that are coming, rather than pushing them that this from tomorrow the whole plant will be run by the artificial intelligence. That will be very wrong. That way the transition has to be gradual, so that people, they understand the benefits, and then they themselves will come forward to get them trained. So that is why we, at the advice of National Council of Vocational Education and Training, who approve our job roles, we call it as not only full job role, we call it as micro credentials. This is a very focused job role, and the training hours will be starting from 7.5 hours to 30 hours, not beyond that. That means 2.5 days training will be sufficient in making people aware of the advantage of artificial intelligence in the process they are running. We thought this is the best way to approach a large group of population in the steel sector, iron and steel sector, which is having some 2.5 million direct and indirect workers working. It is very necessary that they must be fully aware of these advantage of this new technology, and then they will themselves will sort of absorb this. So that is how we are approaching this. And so far as stainless steel is concerned, I am very happy to say that Jindal Stainless, when we approach them, that what are the job roles that you require for your own purpose, they immediately came out that in the downstream area, they require a job role which can be developed by the council. And we thought, and they themselves had suggested, that heavy fabrication with stainless steel. So that means stainless steel now, you see, current percentage is about your 43% of your total sale of stainless steel goes for the architecture, railway and transport, and another 27% goes for your automobile, building and construction. So this together, ABC and ART together takes about 70% of your total consumption of JSL as well as for the total country, and balance 30% for the consumer durables or utensil sector. So you have very rightly approached that these are the industry sector where we must focus our activities. And therefore, for the downstream area, for instance in railway now they have decided to make 100% their coaches with stainless steel. So what do you require? You require fabrication, you require welding. So like ROB, road over bridges, there is use of stainless steel. What do you require there? Same. Stainless steel has to be fabricated, stainless steel has to be welded. And these two, feature welding is a part of that heavy fabrication course that is being developed, and it has already been done with the active support of JSL as well as India Welds. Once this is done, all your downstream industries who are involved in fabrication for bridges, for wagons, for ROBs, for flyovers, all these people will be much benefited by this type of training. And I'm sure JSL will also be the very much beneficiary of this particular job role, so that JSL product will be used for fabrication of all the infrastructure assets that the country is planning. Okay. This is how we are planning, and I'm sure we will have a win-win situation with JSL, their excellent product that will be all be known, that will be rolled into and fabricated. Because whatever you may say, I have heard at least in 100 seminars that when you ask the speaker to list out what are the weakness in Indian steel industry, first or second point will come, there is a lack of fabrication facility, lack of good fabricator. We, along with JSL, we want to bridge that gap. We want to make good fabricator with the training of this specialist heavy fabrication, where the entry point is BTech engineer. They will be the specialist, and then of course they will train all those people who are actually making welding, fitting and fabricating the material.
So you've been in the industry for so long. How do you think the iron and steel industry has evolved over the years, and how do you think stainless steel fits as a material of choice?
If you look at the total steel industry, let me first talk about the total steel industry, which includes carbon as well as stainless steel. We produced about 144 million tons of steel last year, 23-24, and we consumed about 136 million tons of steel. Ministry of Steel has already brought out the National Steel Policy, which says that by 2030, India will have a capacity of 300 million tons. The current capacity of India is 179 million tons. So there is a 121 million tons gap is there to be built within this 7 years, 2023-24 to 30-31. But now almost all the major producers, they have gone in, they announced their expansion plan. Even JSL also, from 3.3 million to 4.2 million at an expense of some 5,400 crore. He will be spending in the next 3 years time, so that you achieve a capacity of 4.2 million tons. So that is how the industry is growing, and the CAGR of Indian consumption today is between 9 to 10%. So even if you the production also goes up by 5 to 6%, it will be achieving that target. But the point is whether the market will be there, because no point in creating capacity without the market. So the market will be there, and I am sure with the main thrust by the government on infra capex, I think there is a huge, massive infrastructure deficit in our country. There are many new sort of railway lines, roads that have to come up, so that interconnectivity with the throughout the country is enhanced. So all these things require steel, whether it is mild steel or stainless steel. Now stainless steel has got their own area where we require corrosive resistant steel, and now there is a good demand for fire resistant steel, because in the building sector there is a good demand for fire resistant steel that are also being developed here, and the technologies are itself are going very fast. There is a LGSF technology. More and more you are moving, there will be light gauge steel with high performance, and that is where there is a great scope for stainless steel to pitch in, because it will be a low volume steel, low weight steel, but high performance. And with high performance there are in duplex variety also you are planning. So those duplex varieties will satisfy the our space research program. In the space area they are already using stainless steel in a big way. So the opportunities, I must say, are abundant. It is not only for the industry, it is all those who are working in the iron and steel industry, including the stainless steel.
If you can just, elaborate the growth trajectory of stainless steel in the coming years in India and in abroad.
There is a great scope for, enhancing this production. But then the availability, I believe that at 4 million or 4.5 million, it is too low. There is a scope for at least 10 million tons of, stainless steel availability in our country in the next few years' time, because that is how the demand is growing. And if the demand grows, we cannot just depend on imports, because imports are not only costly, because they also kill the domestic incentive to produce. Okay, so why should we depend on import? We should not, like last year also I am seeing some 1.6 million tons of stainless steel has been imported, but there are about 10 good producers. Why not the total demand of the country be met by the indigenous production? That should be the target, first target. And then as and when there is a growth in the market, which I am sure with the way railways are moving, with the way the construction of flyovers, bridges are taking place, there is a great demand that will be emanating. So indigenous production, indigenous availability of stainless steel must be enhanced. The stainless steel producer has a great future to play. Only thing is that lot of awareness campaign also you will have to make.
What advice would you like to offer to the professionals in the iron and steel sector, sir?
First of all, the professionals who are working in the iron and steel sector, they need to, their first duty is to develop a group of young professionals, who will work and who will thrive in career in iron and steel sector. Because at one time, I feel at one time when steel industry was passing through a downward cycle, a lot of people, they were leaving the industry. But then things have changed now. There are good opportunities now available. So you must appreciate that a fellow always dreams of a career in an industry which is growing. So who are the professionals who are already working in iron and steel sector? It is their responsibility to bring up, to educate, to train these people, rather than, just leaving them to the, free whims of the market or the production side. They have to train them. They have to build their career. So it is their responsibility. And once they do it, then the young professional will feel more encouraged, more enthused to continue to work, and they will not suddenly leave this industry, in search of, say, because now if you ask any young professional where do you want to join, they will say IT sector, because it is so much paying, or finance, which is now, very much expanding. Iron and steel sector is a very traditional, critical industry of the country, and therefore today's iron and steel sector, working in iron and steel sector, and 15 years back, there is a sea change now. If you visit any of the plants, there is a much less people working on the shop floor, because it is all automated, mechanized. But then there are many people working in the process control area, or in the RNC lab, or similar other functions. Okay, inspection area, even in marketing, in finance, in warehousing, because these are very, very critical operations in the iron and steel area. Very good engineers, they are now working. And you can make your, like metallurgy, there is a iron and steel sector is for metallurgy only, metallurgical students, because they can apply their knowledge in the development of the product, in checking up the product in the RNC lab. So there is a huge application. If you are a mechanical engineer, there are a lot of activities waiting for you in the mechanical area. If you are an electrical engineer, there is a huge electrical department in the steel plant. So structural engineer, because now, as I have told you, that steel industry from mere production, they are now extending to fabrication, which is a very big phenomena that is coming now. So industry would like to have good fabricator, good engineer with mechanical background, with structural engineering background. Even the structural engineer who can design, product, they are very much needed in the steel sector. Even the architectural students with knowledge of steel, who can design, steel product, or who can design, steel building, they are very much needed, because they can then advise the user that you design your house in this fashion.
Anything else that I may have missed, or you want to add, that you would want our viewers to know about the industry?
Indian steel industry is now, there are two parts. One is the large players who are about 50 to 55% share of the market, and there is a small and medium enterprises who are having some 45% market. This SME sector, I would say, they have to come forward in a big way in this nation building exercise, and they have to, skill their people. They have to skill certify their people, because once your workers are skilled, then your productivity goes up, your motivation of the people goes up, and you have an instant example of earning more revenue. That is how I would suggest, this is my only suggestion, that small and medium enterprises of iron and steel sector, they must come forward in skill development, getting their people trained, getting their product certified, and getting their whole industry compatible with all the rules and regulations of the country.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. I also liked very much. Your questions were very deep, but at the same time very straightforward. Thank you for asking me this question.